Alright, so I want to introduce our keynote speakers. They are known to Mary Beth as two guys in a truck, but to the rest of us they're known as two guys with some iPads. Their official job description is, I have to read it because I want to get it right, they are education evangelists. That's pretty cool, right? Amen. So it's my hope to one day be an education evangelist. So I'm a young evangelista. Okay, so let me just introduce, if I could, Brad Wade and Drew Minnick. Let them amaze you and enjoy everything they've got, and hopefully you'll get some good quality time with them after too. So come on, guys, do your thing. Let's give them a round of applause. How's my wireless mic is right under here.
See, no one wanted to sit in the front row, huh?
Yeah.
You scared of us?
All right, well, raise your hand in the back if you can hear us.
No.
No, you can't in the front?
No,
okay, in the back. I think she's through the back, then you might be able to hear better. Okay, Drew and I are going to see if we can do this without mics. So if it gets a little soft, let us know. Just raise your hand and we'll try to speak up, or we'll jump onto the mics. But we want to thank you for having us here today. I am Brad Wade, and this is Drew Minnick.
Hello, everybody.
As Chris said, we're educational evangelists. We've been classroom teachers for a long time. We have a unique opportunity to just extend our classrooms to all over the world. And so we want to thank you for being part of our classroom today. And we look forward to spending the day with you. And we appreciate you having us here. So we're going to get hooked up. Drew's going to get wired up so we can get our presentation. And then we'll get started. We have a great day. We'll be with you here this morning for about an hour. We'll be going over a message and some things that we've seen with students, that we've been doing with students. Hopefully some ideas that you'll be able to take back and use with students. And then we'll break out, we'll do our stations, we'll join you, we'll be at stations. And then you can come visit with us. We'll be showing you some things, we'll be doing different things. Drew will be showing more of the augmented reality in education. I'll be showing you innovation and coding and games and activities with students to help spur creativity and innovation. And then after, we'll be doing lunch, and then afterwards, our understandings, we'll be meeting with grade levels. So thank you again for having us, and Drew, why don't we go ahead if we are ready to start? It's kind of hard to read there, so you might have to read that.
So the main thing we're going to talk about, and one thing you'll notice about us, this is not going to work. Like, I can't sit here and talk on the mic. We'll be like walking back and forth, running around, things like that. We're very active. So you'll never see us like behind the podium, so that will work. So if you can't hear me, just let me know, and I'll just yell louder.
Or come to the front.
Or come, yeah.
The camera doesn't see that, but that whole section. Everybody's in the back, which is fine.
Yes.
Good thing you didn't do the whole presentation in blue.
Yeah, because then no one could read it. That wouldn't really work for one. Okay, so a big thank you to the technology coaches. So we're our technology.
If you're a technology coach and you're here this morning, please stand up. We want to give you a lot of applause. Yes, right on. Yes, thank you. You are helping a lot of us. You're helping lead the change. You are an early adopter that's helping a lot of us in the classrooms to embrace this change and make a difference in education. So thank you.
Also, the diamond winners here in the district, can you stand up?
Casey Lewis.
Yes, that is absolutely awesome. And then Charity, where's Charity at? Charity! Okay, everyone around her, just heads up, we'll let Brad do this. We throw things into the crowd every now and then. So, I've been known to hit people, so he doesn't usually let me throw things.
And there's a difference, because what I'm going to throw you, it feels like a stress ball. It's squeezable. It's a cube, right? Well, we have some of these wooden ones, so a couple of bad things would happen. One, Drew likes to hit people, so really if you got a hold of a wooden block, you can really hurt somebody. So what we're going to do is we'll see if I can reach Charity. So this is for you.
Yeah, you got to catch it.
That's right. Hopefully, if you're around her, it's not like a foul ball. We've got to make sure she gets it. So This is the coolest, not only a stress
If you have to
ball.
dive over a chair, you gotta do it.
You know what? I'm gonna throw it a little short. We'll see if we can get a leaping action shot. There are
take a picture of this. Seriously.
yeah, really? If I got it ready, put it up on Instagram. All right, so there are directions on here, and all of you need to check with her later in the afternoon and see what this cube does. Okay? All right, ready?
More to give away.
All right, here we go. Ready?
Here we go.
Here we go. Thanks, round of applause. Come on, come on.
And the post that I see is this. At the middle school, taking selfies. I'm like, this is our guy. We love this guy.
Love this guy.
So, you guys have to go check out his blog. A lot of great information, great resources on there, and then we'll see goofy photos like this every now and then.
Now, but Drew, you know what? We've taken a selfie before, haven't we?
We've taken more than one selfie.
You know what? So I think in honor of Chris, that man right there. But there we go, right here. Drew and I took this one. We took this one in honor of Chris. So this is we've been known to take a few, and if you
and more Brad.
I was
don't know if it's like an older generation thing.
Oh,
but
I know, right? Well, you know what? It's really a taller generation.
That's what it is.
So yeah,
but we love selfies too. So Chris,
awesome. Round of applause for Chris.
Mary Beth.
Dr. Mary Beth in here. Where is she? Is she here? Yes, let's give her a round of applause. We caught her. She brought this back there right now. She's like, I can't believe it. I was sneaking to breakfast. Well, we want to say thank you to Dr. Mary Beth because with her vision, she is allowing this day to happen. So let's give her another round of applause.
Okay, so we're going to start kind of our part of the presentation off with just a short video to get us started. Okay? But the thing that I find most fascinating about that video is that people in New York were receiving tweets about an earthquake 30 seconds before they even felt it. Think about that. That's nuts. That's absolutely crazy. And that, we want to show that to show you the power of social media. Okay? How much tweeting and Facebook and how much spreading that word, the impact that can have. So that is why we want you using this hashtag today. If you have a Twitter account, everything that you tweet today, we want you to use this hashtag. If you don't have a Twitter account, make one. Get one. Because you're going to want one. It is the most powerful learning tool you will ever use. Okay? It's not just pictures of Kim Kardashian and taking pictures of her food. Okay? It is the most powerful learning tool you will ever use.
How many of you out there are new to Twitter? New to Twitter. Okay, how many people have been on Twitter for a while? Okay. Right. And there's some people didn't raise their hand, don't have Twitter yet. You know what? I was there. The very first thing I did is I did a personal Twitter account and I let it sit idle for a while. It wasn't until a couple years ago I was sitting with Drew and he's like, really, Twitter, we need to explore it. So we looked at Twitter and you know what? You can make Twitter a social, personal, here's my food and stuff like that. And that's an okay way to use it. If you really want to look at it as growing your PLN, your personal learning network, and learning, one way I like to describe it is it's your own professional development right at hand. And the story I like to share is that we worked with a private school in Michigan and there was a Latin teacher there. Now, do you think she can just go to the staff lounge and meet up with other Latin teachers and have conversations about what she's doing? It's not going to happen. So we got her on Twitter, and so one of the first things she did was look for other Latin teachers. Well, all of a sudden she had an instant network of people that she could talk with and converse with and collaborate with. And that's just one small example of, oh, I hadn't thought about that using Twitter. If you really think about it, how can I reach out? You can pose questions. You can say, hey, I'm new to 3rd grade. I see tweets like that all the time. I'm going from 1st to 3rd. Any recommendations or anything to think about? Boom, you send it out. All of a sudden you got people who've already been there. It's like a larger staff lounge. It's more professional development opportunities. So Twitter and other social media is very powerful, and we recommend it. And if you get on and you're new, if you're still an egg, put a picture up. Yes. Definitely, put a picture up.
No eggs.
Hatch. Be new to Twitter. Don't stay an egg for long. Put a profile picture up, and then when you get down to it, put a bio up. All right?
Okay. So throughout this presentation, we're going to pose 3 questions to you. Okay? And the first one that we're going to talk to you about is how many people does it take to make a difference?
1.
Yes.
Good answer.
Exactly.
How many people? It takes 1 person. Okay? It takes 1 person to completely change everything. Keep that in mind as we go through this presentation today. Okay? Another short video for you.
They told me it couldn't be done, that I was the lost cause. I was picked on and picked last. Coaches didn't know how to talk to me. They gave up on me. Told me I should just quit.
And the last bit is...
They didn't call my name. Told me it was over. But I've been deaf since I was 3. So I didn't listen. And now I'm here with a lot of fans in the NFL cheering me on. And I can hear them all.
How many people thought that was a Duracell commercial? Right? Okay. The power of that message, okay, to trust yourself, trust the power within, because when you're inspired, you can literally do anything that you want. Right? Nobody does anything well without being really inspired. Okay? That's something we really want you to take to heart is, are you inspiring your kids in your classroom every day? Right?
Now, how many of you feel like, you know what, we've got Common Core, we've got state standards, we've got testing. How many feel like you're overwhelmed with all that stuff?
Be honest.
Come on. I mean, really? Come on.
I like her in the back. She had 2 hands up.
Okay? All right, so some of you who've been teaching longer, like myself, you remember the days when there was more play. There was more creativity. There's more innovation. And you know, you've been around long enough to see that kind of transform a little bit. The pendulum has been swinging back the other way. Kids are being tested at younger ages. There's more testing. There's standardized testing for the nation. There's state testing. You may even have district testing. You may have grade level testing. Okay? Well, the pendulum is starting to shift again back to inspiration, creativity, engagement, play, things like that. And they're starting to get some good research showing that if you inspire a kid and you engage a kid, they will perform better. And really what we're looking for is we're trying to prepare kids for the next workforce, the next education, okay? This isn't about, okay, how many tests can they take inside a cubicle? Okay, those days are going away. We have to collaborate. We have to work together. So that's the way we need to teach and inspire kids. And that's what we're looking for. And that's what we're talking about. And that's what today is about. So we're going to show you a lot of these things that are not add-ons. And they're not to replace curriculum or standards. They're things that you can do and introduce to kids and students in your classrooms, in clubs, wherever. Because it only takes one person, you, to make a difference. And you never know what that is going to be for that child. And you have your own success stories. You have the stories that you shared many times. And that's why you're educators. We're not here for the money. We're here for the difference we make. And that's what this is all about. So we are changing that pendulum back to doing the right things for kids.
Another thing that I really want to be clear about is we've had so many people ask us, we'll show you a lot of really cool things today. Okay? How does that go with this standard? How does this go with that standard? I'm not the person to have that conversation with because I think that's the dumbest question that you can ask. Okay? How can you inspire a kid to love to learn? Your job is not to teach somebody how to multiply, how to read. Okay? Your number one job is to inspire them to love to learn. Because if they love to learn, the rest will take care of itself. But if you crush it at an early age, we're all in big trouble. Okay? That was my number one goal. I had one goal this past school year. And that was that every single day, my kids wanted to come to school. If they wanted to come to school, then the standards, Common Core, all that stuff, test scores, it takes care of itself because they want to be there. Alright? So, I love this picture because this is so true. Right? Think of the video that we just watched and the one that we're just going to show you in just a second. But this is how learning really happens. Right? You fail, you fail, you fail, you fail, you fail before you finally succeed. Right?
Think about this. You know what? We grew up with this mentality. If we didn't win, we failed. Period. It's almost like we had to go through that door. We were failures. Well, really, if we need to do a paradigm shift and transform the way we think about educating kids and how we learn as well. Now, it's not, oh, I failed so I didn't win. Now it's like, you know what? I will win eventually. I will. I'll stay at it and I'll work at it. I may hit some roadblocks, but I'm eventually going to win. And we need to change that perception with kids, especially at a young age, because if we think this is the path, they will too. Oh, I didn't win, so I failed. No, Johnny, that's okay. We just hit a roadblock. We'll get you there. We'll get you there in time. Everybody will get there. Okay? So a lot of this is a paradigm shift in thinking. A lot of this. And I know, I'm hoping a lot of you are like, this is refreshing finally. Because, we've all been to PDs. We've all been to places where it's a lot about the numbers. It's a lot about 3 hours. I go to a math workshop. It's 3 hours. They want me to teach math 3 hours a day. Well, I can't. I teach third graders. I have 45 minutes a day I can teach it. Okay? I go to a language arts one. It's the same thing. They think that I can teach it half a day. I really can't. That's not real world. That's not the way it works. Okay? But now it's a paradigm shift on how you're thinking about things and being realistic in what's making a difference with kids. And all this stuff is how we need to think about how we're educating kids in the classroom.
Evening.
Evening.
May I ring that up for you?
Yes, please.
Have a good evening.
Repeat after me. A.
B.
And C.
C. B, C, D, E, F, G. No, not good. Not good. Just the sounds that holds back. Cat, dog, calamari. Trash on the beach. Good. Farm fresh. My son and I mowed the grass. That's the gold star. Dad, hey Tubbs, I read your book. You read my book? Barman, give that man a belt.
Who knew? It's not about the scotch, right? We might want some, but we as educators look at that story so differently.
He did deserve a shot.
Absolutely. He worked hard.
Who in here is familiar with Angela Myers? One, two.
There's a few back there. I recommend you check her out. She has a great movement. We've had the privilege of getting to know Angela. We were on a panel with her at ISTE this year in Atlanta, and we're going to share a little bit of her philosophy and her movement. It's a great cause, and it really transforms students internally. And we've seen it, and we're going to show you some things.
And the most important thing that you can do, again, is building those relationships with your students, right? And knowing that each day when they come in your classroom, that you believe in them, and you continue to build that relationship and believe in them, they'll do extraordinary things. Okay? One thing that we did last year is we made this billboard outside of my classroom. It's 2 words that can change the world. You matter. And each kid in our class, it's all anonymous, picked another kid in the classroom and wrote something nice to them, saying why they matter. Okay? And we left markers out there. And then next thing you know, we have parents coming by. They're writing to people. Other teachers are coming by. They're writing things to people. It's all anonymous. So when you go by there and read those things, it really like tugs at your heartstrings, because it's just, and you're writing to people that might never read it, right? But it's not the point. It's showing kids about that kindness and things like that. I always said in my class, if you work really hard and you're kind to people, then you can do anything. Okay? You can be the smartest person in the room. But if you're a jerk, no one will want to work with you. But you can really struggle and be kind and work with people, and they'll want to help you, and you'll be fine. Right?
How many of you know the phrase, sticks and stones may break my bones, but words may never hurt me, right? I mean, we grew up with that, right? That is absolutely the worst. It makes no sense. Yeah, somebody can beat me with a stick and break my leg. It's going to heal, and I'll be fine later. You know, but how many of you think back to some time in your childhood where somebody said something mean to you? Raise your hand. I'm not going to ask you, but seriously. And for some of us, that was a while ago. 30, 40 years ago. Words are powerful. Okay? We remember the bad things that people say to us. We should be remembering the nice things. You know how a smile is contagious? You know the person in your building that greets you with the hello every morning. That brightens your day. It's a great way to start off. Well, the You Matter, it's not just for kids. It's for adults too. You know, it's to share some positive, something, you know, just let people know they're important. Okay, because words go a long way. If someone's nice to me and say some nice things to me, I'm going to do a lot more for you out of kindness because I really appreciate what you're saying and what you're doing. So that whole phrase of words may never hurt me is absolutely out the window. That makes no sense. We know about bullying. We've seen the videos. We know about kids getting picked on. We know about bosses that are jerks because they're mean. We know about colleagues that maybe you don't collaborate with because they're not the kindest. We need to change the culture. I'm sure your culture here is awesome. But think about making it even better. Just sharing those words. Let somebody know that they matter in your own way. It doesn't have to be anything big. It has to be something. And it has to be genuine, not hollow. You don't want a coach saying to a kid, hey, great job, Johnny, when he's over there on the ground. That's a hollow compliment. Makes no sense. It's got to be genuine. So think about that too. You have something inside you. You are here for a reason. Everybody has what we call a genius. You have something to contribute, something to share. Your teammates know this. How many of you are on a team? You're on a third grade team. Okay, third grade team. Okay, who's the third? Nobody here? Okay, all right. Just use an example. Okay, on that third grade team, there are some of you who say like, oh, you know what? Will you do this because you're really good at it? Maybe you're good at PowerPoint. Will you do this? Will you make that phone call? Will you call transportation? We all have something that we're good at, and your colleagues know that. Okay? Everybody is here to contribute something, and we want to make sure that we recognize that. It not only works for kids, but it works for adults too.
And I want to piggyback off what Brad just said with this, the smile is contagious. There's a story in, it's called The One Book. And a lot of this is from that book. It's from liveinspired.com. I highly recommend checking it out. But there's a story in there from a middle school teacher. And he noticed this kid in the hallway. Each day he was just, nobody talked to him. He kind of walked with a limp. You know, he was just by himself all the time. So every day he walked by that kid and said hello. Every single day. And the last day of school, he walked into his classroom and there was a note on his desk that just said, thank you for saying hi to me every day. It really made my day each day. So something as small as saying hi or a smile, you never know what impact that can have. Okay? The You Matter Manifesto, which was up here just a second ago, I gave that to each one of my students in the report card envelope at the end of the year. And I just had a parent send this to me on Facebook the other day.
The other day, recently.
Middle school teachers, or if you have a middle schooler, you know decorating your locker, big deal, right? Big deal. Well, I made the cut here. The You Matter Manifesto made the cut, which is, you think about that, though. Pictures of friends and everything, and they put this in their locker, just to remember every day that she matters. I think that's pretty awesome. Right? Again, this is another thing from the One Book about believing. It's just talking about how you believe in yourself, believe that you can do it. And then at the end, it's that I believe in you. Again, people will do amazing things if they know that you believe in them.
Same thing with hope. You know, sometimes like you've heard stories about people who have lost hope or people who have hope. And if you've ever been sick or challenged with something, hope is powerful. So is belief and inspiration. All these things are very powerful tools that we have. They don't cost anything. You don't have to go out and buy them. You just have to believe them. And relationships with students and children are so important. And remember back when you first started, that is why you became an educator, is for children. And these relationships are so important. And like I said, you have your own story with kids, the differences you've made. Okay? Those are things to be celebrated. Those are things to be remembered. And each year, you get a chance to do it with another group of kids. I know that is one of the best parts of this job is every year you get to start over again. You get to build those new relationships. You get to greet kids at the door. And you know what? For me, I didn't go and read the files on every kid until a month after school started because I didn't want any predispositions. Okay, I already knew the kids typically who came in. I always had the boy that was a behavior problem because I was one of the few males in the elementary building.
And he was the behavior problem.
Well, okay, so that's why I got them, because I can identify. I can identify those kids. You know, because I like them to come in with a clean slate, and I get to make my own decisions and work with them. Have belief right away, and then create those relationships. And here's some stories as we go along about some things we've done with students.
In that video that we showed you earlier, it talked about how even babies have a digital shadow, right? A digital footprint, how important that is. And there's actually credit companies that are looking at a digital footprint now, or companies that give loans that are looking at digital footprints rather than a credit score. Because they feel like they can learn a lot more from what you do online than a score. Think about that. That's pretty amazing.
Do you remember the thing that said what happens in Vegas stays on Facebook, Pinterest, Twitter, all that? I heard a lot of laughs because like that slogan, yeah. You know, even with breaking news sports fans, you know, with I think it was Shaw, USC.
Yes.
Okay? USC, this was the captain of the football team. Okay? He did something kind of stupid apparently and he injured himself. Well, what he did is he made up a story and said, I jumped off a second-story balcony to save my 7-year-old nephew from drowning. Oh, he's a hero. ESPN, everybody went out there to do a feel-good story. You think that story was true? We found out it wasn't. Okay? You know, things are going to come out. And with all the social media stuff, you know, we train our kids on digital citizenship. Okay, and if you haven't heard that phrase, you know, it's a phrase that we talk about teaching kids how to be responsible. Okay, I've got a high schooler, middle schooler, elementary, and they all are in different stages of social media. And luckily, we've been okay so far. But like, you know, as a, I haven't got any knocks on my door, and knock on wood that we're okay because you know, your digital footprint is out there. Have you Googled yourself? You know, you might be surprised what you find. So when we teach kids about being smart and being good on digital and social media.
Because many people, you're lucky. Because when you were in school and you screwed up, it was all analog. It's in a filing cabinet somewhere that nobody knows where it is.
No.
Right? You know that every single tweet is captured by the Library of Congress. Even the ones that are deleted, they have every single tweet ever. As soon as you tweet, they have it. And nowadays, you can ruin your life with a clip, right? So it's so important to just have kids think before they post on social media, okay? And this is part of our job, is to teach them these skills. It's so important. Even I taught it in 4th grade. I know Brad had taught it in 3rd grade. We had kids in kindergarten where we start talking about these things. Because it's so important to build that digital footprint on a positive note. So when you are Googled, okay, it shows a lot of positive things. This is one way that we did, talked about digital footprint and help kids realize that, but it also helps you build the relationships with kids, and that's an analog Twitter wall. Okay? Each kid got a sentence strip. And when they walked in, every single morning in my class, it's the #1 thing they did, they had to tweet. Every day. They had to create their own Twitter handle, and then they had to write a tweet. About anything. Okay? Well, if they screw up doing this, that's fine, because now it becomes a teachable moment to where we can talk about that. I can erase that. If he tweets this to the real world, I can't. So teaching them the importance and how to do it, what's appropriate, what's not, in this way, was unbelievable, the impact it had on my classroom. Not only because it taught the digital citizenship, but the relationships. The things that I was able to learn about my students outside of our school. Okay? I had a kid in my classroom who had a little brother that had cancer that he shared a room with. Okay? And every night he used a machine to breathe when he was sleeping. Well, many times he would come in and a tweet would be like, I'm really tired, I didn't sleep much last night. Something like that. Am I going to treat that kid differently than maybe I would have if I didn't know that? Yeah, I am. I had one kid come in and tweet that their pet died the night before. Do you think they care about what multiplication is that morning? No. Alright? Simple activity like this, and it is so powerful. Okay. But every now and then, you'll get things like this. My sister was like, oh.
She did, though. I saw it, sister. But a lot of the things that...
Those are always true.
Those are the moments you just kind of laugh at and you're like, I love being a teacher. A lot of these things, what Drew's talking about now, and a lot of things we'll talk about throughout the day, we call them secondary benefits. Because a lot of things we'll talk about, and we'll show you that you can do with kids, have a very primary purpose, the reason why we're using it, and a means to an end. Okay, I want them to learn this. I want them to experience this. But then we find that there are a lot of secondary benefits. Okay, the first benefit, the primary purpose of this, the analog Twitter wall, was to teach some responsibility and digital citizenship. Secondary benefit, we can get a window into our student for that day. You know, the student whose brother had cancer, the student whose dog died that day. Okay, because all of a sudden they're allowing us in their world for a moment. Okay, and there are a lot of kids who are pretty shy. And we don't have those relationships with a lot of them yet, not in the beginning of the year. That they're not going to come up. Some of them are just shy. They don't want to just like share one important thing with us, one thing that may be personal, emotional. But if they're in a routine like this, they feel a little safer that they can put it out there. And it gives you a quick insight to your student for that day. Okay, and that's a wonderful secondary benefit. So a lot of these things that we will be talking about today, and even more coming up this morning, will show you some of the secondary benefits. Because a lot of that, those are the great moments that really impact a student. Because I'm going to ask right now, when you were in school, how many of you remember math lesson 3.2 in 3rd grade? We don't remember that. How many of you remember something awesome that happened in one of your classes when you were a kid? A cool emotional story, something a teacher did. Something that was crazy and fun and got all the kids involved. Maybe it was just somebody came in. Maybe it was just a video you showed that you tied into the learning. Something that impacted and had meaning with that student. Not just analog worksheets and paper. The first day of school last year, I asked my kids, very first half day of school, I sat them on the carpet because I obviously do a lot with iPads. And I said, all right, how many of you know digital? And every kid in the class raised their hand. I said, how many of you know what digital learning means? They all raised their hand. I said, how many of you know what analog learning means? Not one student raised their hand. Yet, analog learning was about 90–95% of their learning. Paper and pencil, it's very traditional, still has a place, still has a purpose, still has a means. Okay, but it was just interesting because my students were growing up in a digital world. They understood it, they knew how to interact and learn in a digital world. My world was analog. They had to exist in an analog world, and we were forcing them to learn analog in a digital world. Okay, so what I did is last year I blended my room in analog and a digital learning space. So every single morning when they came in, I had analog learning and digital learning on the board, side by side. And if you've ever seen me tweet, you'd see it, because I put it out there every now and then. So I like to show what my morning's focus was on. Okay, so that was a great way to blend some of the traditional necessary stuff that I had to do, but also enhance it with the digital learning. So what I did was I would have a means, something I wanted to accomplish in the morning. I'd have half my students on digital, half my students on analog, and then they would flip. Okay, kept everybody happy, gave me my paper that I needed, some for assessment, gave the digital learning an opportunity. Okay, so we bring that up because kids are growing up in a digital world. We grew up in an analog world, and that's okay. There's still a lot of necessary benefits there. But the idea now is, and what we need to figure out is how do we blend that? How do we transform that and capture kids in a digital world? And that's what some of this is about.
What do you want kids to do with the technology that they have in their classroom? Okay? It's a very important question. What do you want them to do with it? Okay? Do you want them to make a slideshow?
Sounds reasonable.
Similar to this?
Reasonable.
Do you want to blog, share what they're doing?
I've written a blog, sure.
Okay? Edmodo. We have Edmodo users. You want to just post and answer questions, take quizzes on Edmodo? Okay? No. That is not what we want kids to do. Okay? We want kids to play games, make slideshows, do all this stuff. Okay? But if that's the purpose, is just to do that, then we're missing the boat. We're missing the boat here. I mean, look at this. Okay? You want to make prezzies, start vlogs, things like that, but it can't stop here. Okay? You can't have them make these things so they learn how to make it. Okay? We want them to do these things so they can raise awareness, so they can start conversations, they can learn how to research. That is the reason that we have them do these projects. Okay? Not that they can just complete it. If you throw out a project and you get 30 of the same thing, it's not a project, it's a recipe. Right?
Did you hear that? Think about that.
That's Chris Lehman. He's from recipes.
Chris Lehman, yeah. It's a recipe. Think about that. We have a recipe so we can make cookies. We have a recipe so we can cook dinner. If I follow the recipe, I'm going to come out with a certain thing. If I give the same recipe to Drew, they should look alike. So if we're creating projects in class, and like Drew said, they all come out the same, well, we didn't give them anything to be successful other than follow directions. And you know what? Follow directions is important. We want them in lines, we want them to do X, Y, Z, and so on and so on. But we really want them to make a difference, take action. We talked about a call to action. So after we leave today, we hope you don't just say, oh, that was neat, I'm going to go back to my classroom and do what I've been doing for 10 years. Okay? And we're not saying change everything, but we're hoping that this is enough, and with your colleagues today talking throughout the day and what you've seen, you get to go back to your classroom, you're like, you know what, that one thing was really cool, I want to implement that. That's where I'm going to start this year. I'm going to use that to make a difference and show kids they matter, and start to transform the culture in my classroom. That's an action that we want you to take to make a difference, drive change, and so on. So these things are great. We've had kids do these. But you can't have these to be done just for the sake of doing them. We don't teach kids how to do math just so they can go through the process. We go through and teach them so they can be thinkers and solve problems. Because in the real world, they're not necessarily going to be on a job site and they're going to be told, all right, can you give me the multiplication of this? No, it's going to be like, all right, here's our problem, Steve. What do? Then you got to go out and use all your learning and what you've gone and how you've learned and collaborated throughout the years and doing all this stuff to make a difference and learn and collaborate. One of the things that strikes me is we're preparing students for jobs that don't even exist yet, with technologies that don't even exist yet. So how can we teach them? How do we go in that book and teach them technology that doesn't exist? We've got to teach them how to be thinkers. So we challenge you, where in time are you? You know, where teaching is a continuum. You know, the days of teachers knowing everything and standing up in the classroom saying, I know everything, I'm going to lecture and give it all to you, you're going to spit it back to me, those days are gone. Okay? We're now moving into collaboration, facilitation. I'd love to know everything. I sure don't. But I know if I need an answer, like to an actual statement question, you know, who was the 14th president? Boom, I can find it in 3 seconds. All of us can. Okay? But we're here about teaching and collaborating and innovation. So we're going to challenge you, where are you in time? Where are you along that continuum? We hope we continue to push you up into the 21st century and thinking about the movie you just saw.
There's so much talk about devices. Do we want Chromebooks? Do we want Android tablets? Do we want iPads? Do we want laptops? What do we want? It has nothing to do with the device. Okay? Absolutely nothing. It has to do with creating moments like this. Okay? It has to do with the way you integrate the technology with the students. Okay? Innovation. Letting kids explore creating, failing before they finally succeed. Okay? Have them create amazing things. Engagement. Does he look engaged? Okay?
That's a real picture.
This is a student in my classroom the first time he tried Google Glass.
Now, we don't all have Google Glass, but that's just an example. You know what? There are ways to engage kids. And if you can engage them, you go through these things. We'll get there.
And a love of learning. Okay? This kid is excited to come to school. Piggybacking on that, we need to let kids create. Okay? It's the only way that you can really predict your future, is to actually create it yourself. Okay?
That's what this afternoon is going to be about, and later this morning at Casey's. Coding in schools. We're going to run through this real quick. This morning at my station, I'll be doing some of these things. Coding in schools, we'll be looking at cargo bots. And these are just great ways for students in the elementary level, from very young up into 5th grade. Different levels of pre-programming and coding skills. It comes from code.org, which we'll talk about more later. CargoBot, and I'm going to share a quick story with you on CargoBot. Code.org is a great resource if you're interested in getting into some coding in your classroom. How can I implement it? It's a foundation started by Bill Gates, Mark Zuckerberg, and it's supported by a ton of amazing people. Well, if you're interested, you can go there and you can learn about, I want to learn how to code, I want to teach code, I want to bring my classroom. You go through, you select what you want to do, and it gives you, well, I have kids of this age or whatever, and you can find an app or something that is suitable to use. Well, Drew and I went in here, we found CargoBot because CargoBot says 8+, and I was like, that's great, I'm going to try to use it in my classroom. This is an app that was created, the first app created solely on an iPad, using a programming language on an iPad. And the cool thing about CargoBot is it teaches some great coding skills. So how many of you are familiar when you go to the movie theater or the Chuck E. Cheese or something, kids want $1, they go put it in, they get the crane, they go over, it grabs a stuffed animal, it doesn't really grab it, and then $10 later they get a 37-cent stuffed animal, right? Okay, so you are lucky enough to get to create this with your students. And it's not only great for students, it's fun for adults too. CargoBot, you program this crane to go across the screen. You have a goal up top, kind of like Angry Birds. And these are registers, which we'll show you later. I'm going to make this quick. You drag and drop these to program the crane to move them. Okay? Now, you never know what it's going to be for a student. And I've talked about you have your own stories on the difference you made in a child's life and ways you engage them. I had a student come into my classroom a couple years ago. I was told the year prior. He's a mute, doesn't talk. He's a selective mute all his life. He talks to his parents and one kid that's his friend. I knew this student was going to come into my classroom, so I just said, okay, that's fine. So he came into my classroom, and I just made a decision. I said, I'm not going to treat him any differently than any other student. Okay? He just doesn't communicate the way I usually do by voice. Okay, so a student comes into my class, and I already made this decision that I'm not going to treat him any differently. So comes into class, and in my class, and your lunch count might be like this, I don't know. Each day I say what our lunch count is. Okay, choice 1, choice 2, choice 3. For me, I ask all the kids because all the kids do it themselves. I have 5 kids who miss and I can't stand it. So I give every kid's name and they have to tell me what they want for lunch. Choice 1, 2, 3, pizza, whatever. All right, kids, our lunch is not great. Pizza, hamburger, hot dog, you know, maybe something healthy once a week, maybe.
Those are our choices.
Really? Every 4 of the 5 days, pizza is an option. And that's no joke. It's terrible. Thursday is decent. He's a bagel bite pizza person and a 5-hour energy guy. So Justin comes into my class. It's the first full day of school. And I go through all the names. He's about 8th or 9th down. I go, Justin, lunch? He gets up, he comes over, he points. That's cool, we'll figure this out. So, finally we have intake conferences where we meet with parents. We do that early in the year, and this is the chance for me to listen. They can share with their student about it. So I'm meeting with his parents, and I say, so what are your goals for Justin this year? His mom said, my biggest goal for him would be if he could just say something across the room in front of his peers. If he could just answer or say any word across the room in front of his peers, that would be a success. He doesn't talk. We don't know why. He has an older sister. She talks. Nothing happened. He doesn't talk. So I'm like, okay. I have no idea if that's going to happen. But that's okay, cool. We're not talking academics or anything like that. So I'm just going to try to create a relationship with him and go through it. So now, fast forward, we're in October, and I'm doing an iPad overview with the students, okay? So I give iPads out, and I'm introducing them to the class. And I picked some apps, and I gave kids all a station. CargoBot was one of those. And so basically it was like 5 weeks, 5 stations with these apps. Each group of kids got to explore and have some sandbox time and learn about these apps. Well, one thing I noticed about Justin was he really liked CargoBot. And he was really, really good at it. I noticed when he had finished his work, you can check out an iPad, or when it was unstructured time, like finish lunch, because we eat lunch in our classrooms, or at snack time, he would get an iPad and he would work on CargoBot. And he just liked it. He was pretty good at it. So now, 5 weeks later, it's time for a share out. And it's time for all the groups to share their app. Every group was assigned a certain app to come up and present about. So I say, okay kids, today it's presentation day. It's time for everybody to share about their apps. And I said, you have to hear my phrases. I said, I would like to hear from everybody. I'm not telling Justin. I'm not going to tell Justin. He's going to stand up in front of his peers and he's going to talk. But I haven't treated him differently yet. And we've found ways to communicate. No pressure on him. So I said, I'd like to hear from everybody. And I'll never forget, I was standing near the back of my room. Justin comes up to me. He tugs on my shirt. And he goes, Mr. Wade, can my group go first? First time we'd ever spoke. I'm like, oh my God. I run to the back of the class. I turn around because I know that I'm like, what? Are you kidding me? I'm like, oh my, I get goosebumps every time. I walk to the back of the class, I turn around, I'm just thinking, I'm going, oh my God, Justin just talked. What am I going to do? I don't even know what to do. So I go, yep, you can go first, Justin. I'm like, oh man, what's going to happen now? So we have a microphone in the class, and Justin's group goes up. And I'm just like going, oh no, what is going on? So he goes up with this group, and Justin's the first one. There's 4 kids, he's the first one in line. He grabs the microphone, and he puts up his mouth. My app is CargoBot, and everybody just like, think about this. He had not spoken to anyone other than his parents, his one friend. He's 8 years old. This did it for Justin. I didn't know CargoBot was going to do anything for him. It was also a relationship I created. I did not treat him any differently. I did not treat him like he had an IEP, a 504, anything. I just said, we'll figure it out, Justin. We'll figure out how to communicate. And we did. He chose to talk. Now think about this. I got conferences coming up with parents in 2 weeks. So now I had a dilemma. I'm like, all right, do I go to the phone and say, hey, Justin talked? Or do I sit on it? That's not a comfortable feeling. But the last thing I wanted is I didn't want to go to the phone and say, hey, Justin talked. Justin gets off the bus. Hey, Justin, you talked. That's so great. What? He sold me out? So I didn't do it. I waited. I said, you know what? I'm going to see them in 2 weeks. Either he's going to go home and tell them, or I'm going to tell them. Either way, it's fine. So 2 weeks later, it's Wednesday night. I'm meeting with all different parents, and it's time for Justin's parents to come in. And they sit down. And when I did that day, I said, hey, Justin. And Justin started talking a little bit in class, and I'll let Drew finish the story, because he went to Drew's class the next year. So Justin started talking a little bit, not in conversation, but he'd answer me and tell me what he wants for, he'd come up and tell me what he wants for lunch. So I said, hey, Justin, I'm going to meet with your parents tonight. I think it'd be really cool if you tell them about CargoBot. I said, can I just take a video and you can tell them about CargoBot? He goes, sure. So think back. Remember, his parents said, I'd love to hear him say something in front of his peers across the room. So I made this video at snack time with kids as noisy as can be all around. I put him in his desk. I said, Justin, he's on one iPad, I'm filming on another. I said, Justin, just say, hey, Mom and Dad, I know you're meeting with Mr. Wade. Tell him about CargoBot. So I still have the video. I start filming Justin. He's like, hi, Mom and Dad, I know you're meeting with Mr. Wade. I mean, he's like, whatever, you know. Yeah. He's like, I know you're meeting with Mr. Wade, you know, this is CargoBot. The next minute and a half didn't matter. It didn't matter one bit. So I go through the conference with his parents. And I've got some work that I'm showing them. You know, he's never really found a great way to communicate or to show what he knows. So academically, we would put him in a low category because he really doesn't know how to share or communicate or show. Poor penmanship, poor communication skills, to say the least. So I'm sitting there with his parents, and we're all done. I said, hey, I want to show you something. I want to show you an app that we use in CargoBot. It's really neat. I want to show you something. So why don't you play that video? So the mom puts the iPad. They're both sitting there, Mom and Dad. Press play. All of a sudden their sign comes up. Justin, hi, Mom and Dad. I know you're meeting with Mr. Wade. I just want to show you CargoBot. It goes on for like a minute and a half, which seemed like forever. I look up. Mom's just, tears are rolling out. She's just crying. And Dad's just sitting there in amazement. So when the video's over, she looked up at me. I said, what now? And she goes, I guess we'll talk academics. And think about that. The first time they've had a parent-teacher conference to talk academics. You know, we never know what's going to be with those kids, with any student of any ability or any situation. But you know what? He felt safe enough in that environment. He found something to where he felt like it's time for me with no external pressure. Think about how liberated he is and he got. I remember the very first time I told him to be quiet. It was snack time and he was on the other side of the room just being as noisy as can be. I'm like, Justin, knock it off, quiet down. I'm like, oh my God, I just told him. Right? So at the end of the year, we're having the end of the year party and Mom's there. And remember, this happened in October. So we had a long rest of the year. Justin's talking, he's talking to other kids. He's saying hi to some teachers. He's just now in with the class. So it's the end of the year, we're having the class party, it's outside, and Justin's out on the playground running around, and Mom says, I just can't believe it. I said, and these were her words. She said, he looks like a normal kid now. I said, what do you mean? She goes, look at the way he's running around. She goes, he didn't get called to birthday parties, he never went to friends' houses, because he was socially awkward. She goes, he didn't even know how to play with kids. And if you saw him, you'd be like, you'd never spot him out in a crowd. Because that changed him. The relationship changed him. Now, he went to Drew's class the next year. Drew, did he continue to talk? And
He did, and I want to tell you a little something about this too, because I taught 3rd grade with Brad 2 years ago, but I went up to 4th grade the next year. And I looped with about 50–60% of my kids. But I got Justin because I was the tech guy, right? Mm-hmm. Like Brad. So we thought that would be a comfortable environment for him. So he came into my classroom with kids that have already been in class together for a year. And he presented almost 8 times in my class this year.
Let's give that up for Justin. We're going to speed up, but
yeah, and the reason that it's important to tell that story is because you never know what it's going to be. You never know what tool you use is going to impact a kid and change their life.
And the relationships that you're building, that you start every year.
Design thinking. Okay? There's a new push for design thinking in school. And we're going to show you a couple of tools that do that. And why do we talk about design thinking? Okay? Because kids want to design and create things. This is my niece. First day of kindergarten. I want to be a dress designer. This is actually the post. Isn't this awesome? That's awesome. Right? I bet she wasn't a handful at all.
No. I love kids like that.
Pixel press floors. Anyone heard of it? You get to take a piece of paper and a pencil and draw, using glyphs, your own video game. Just by drawing X's and lines and things like that on a video game, scanning it with an iPad, you can go in and it actually becomes a video game, where you can then build the terrain and add characters and enemies and publish it to an arcade for anyone in the world to play. Unbelievable, and it's free.
Unbelievable.
Canva, one of the coolest websites that is also free. Okay? It gives anybody the ability to be a graphic designer and create and publish things that look like professionals did them. And it's so easy. Awesome, awesome website. 3D printing. Okay? I was lucky enough to have a 3D printer in my classroom this last year. And these are some of the projects. We printed T-Rex. Obviously, we had to get Snuffleupagus, right? Minion. Olaf. Okay? So these are just some of the things. And it's amazing when the kids can get in, they can create something and then print it and have something tangible. Learn from it. Maybe their design that they created wasn't correct. Okay? With Tinkercad, I tried for months to try to learn how to 3D model. I can't do it.
He
I
tried.
am not smart enough.
He was not good at it.
No.
I didn't even try. I knew better. I wasn't wasting my time. I couldn't do it. Until now.
With this, it is so easy. And they have interactive lessons that teach kids how to 3D model, create things, and then download them for Minecraft or 3D printing. Or just download the 3D model to use with augmented reality, which we'll get to. Okay? These are some of the things that my kids created. This is one girl who kind of took it to another level. And she created this family called the Aqua Eggs. Okay? We got inner tube with the Aqua Egg sitting in it. You can see, it's hard to see, but the water's
Made it.
It's awesome. And she did this on a Saturday. So she spent hours at home doing this. Okay? But how can you bring learning to life? Actually make it pop off the paper or your walls. Change your learning spaces. And that's with augmented reality. Okay? We had a talk earlier this morning with Chris about QR codes. There's a lot of QR codes you can scan today, right? This is QR codes on steroids. Seriously.
Yeah.
I told him, after we show you stuff today, you'll never use a QR code again. Okay?
But I like a QR code. Right? Right? It's easy.
It can be. But what is augmented reality? Okay? And Brad loves giving like a very technical term that when he says it, I don't even know what he's saying.
It's really good. But it might go too long.
And it's nothing.
It's really good.
So we like to relate it to movies. Who's seen Harry Potter?
I haven't.
Only that many people? Who's seen Harry Potter? Come on.
All right.
Good, there we go. Night at the museum.
See that one?
There we go. Think of being a student at Hogwarts and you're walking through the halls. The pictures, they're not just your normal pictures on the wall. They're moving, they're interactive, they're alive. That's augmented reality. The museum, during the day they're just your stagnant exhibits. At night they come to life. That's AR. And when we say AR, we're not saying accelerated reader.
Yeah, I know, right? How many of you are like, oh, AR, I know, accelerated reader? I was like the same thing. I'm like, man, how are we ever going to get past AR meaning accelerated reader? Well, we've done, at least in our minds, so.
Okay. Love this picture. Without AR. Ton of books, paper, pencil, just wants to rip his hair out. And then you have this kid with one book that's alive with AR. And the material is actually coming out of the book. Okay? And why is it important? Because of the power of it. Look at this kid's face.
This was so
It
awesome.
blows minds.
See, this was so awesome because we got this tweet, I don't know, a couple weeks ago. Okay, because we invented, was this when we were in Indiana? Or
yes.
Texas? Okay. We were out in Indiana giving a conference. We were doing something like this, and we had shown some augmented reality targets and some learning experiences. And somebody went home and showed his sister, and this was his nephew. And he took the picture. Another real picture. I mean, that is not staged. That's a real picture. So he sent it to us. This is him. I believe he's looking at the human body.
Yes.
Which you will see. We've all seen the human body, but you're going to see it like you haven't seen it before.
Okay.
What? Oh,
because we like to talk, there's one thing that you'll learn about us. If someone gives us 15 minutes to do something, we'll take 45. We'll just talk.
We're aware of the time.
So what we're going to do,
okay.
Instead of talking about it, we're going to show it to you.
You guys want to see some cool demos? Yeah. They're like, I don't even know what they're talking about. Okay.
Give us what's cool.
So, all right. So I'll give you the quick definition of augmented reality. Augmented reality is using image recognition software. Basically using a phone, a device, anything with a camera, and when you scan it over something, it says, I know what that is. And you know what? Because I know what that is, I'm going to run this program. Simple as that. It was a military technology about 15 years ago. Here I go into this crazy definition. But it was the military created to assist soldiers out in the field. Okay, so like to repair a tank, you'd have to wait for a technician. Well, you know what? If they're out in the battlefield and they really can't afford to wait 4 hours for a technician to come out and fix the tread on the tank, they said there's got to be some way we can help a soldier who's good in the battlefield be able to fix that tank if something comes up. So what they did is they said, all right, well, we're going to give you a device that recognizes the tank. It's going to recognize what the problem is. And when it sees it, it's going to walk you through a how to fix this problem. Well, lo and behold, years later, the advertising companies got into this and said, that's really cool. I bet I can make something really cool in marketing with that. I can make a poster come to life. I can promote Wolverine, the movie. Well, Drew and I stumbled upon this a couple years ago and said, that's cool stuff. Let's bring it in the classroom. What we're about to show you, I don't know which we're going to show first. Well, anyways, we're going to show you some cool stuff. A couple of these posters on the floor are things that we found early started using in the classroom. Not intended for education in the classroom, but Drew and I started using it. And we started finding, and then we started writing about it. Said, look at this cool stuff. And now education has found its place. AR is starting to look at education. And so we are the benefactors of this. We are going to show you some of the cool things that have come out with using augmented reality to engage students and transform learning in the classroom.
First one is Elements 4D. Okay? How many people just love chemistry?
Okay, he's being sarcastic.
There's
Yes!
one
We got some. Okay.
One over there. Good.
Okay. Hey, you know what?
Okay.
I like chemistry. But you know what?
I'm a visual learner. I need to see it. So if you tell me that you take hydrogen and oxygen, you mix them together, I'm like, sweet, yeah, okay, whatever, right? I need to see it. Okay? So that's where Daiquiri created Elements 4D. Each one of these blocks has a different element from the periodic table. Okay? There's 6 blocks, and you can see these white ones up here.
This is cool. This was a proof of concept. The founder of Daiquiri, Brian Mullen, said, I wonder if we can augment a 3D object. Let's try a cube. Let's get some wood. He goes, I've got an idea. Let's get them laser engraved, and let's see if we can put a different one on each side, if we can get it to hold an image. He said, let's check the elements. That might be cool. I'd like to see what hydrogen looks like or what copper looks like. So let's try that. So this is what came up with. And after a Kickstarter campaign and a few revolutions later, now you're going to see this. Well, that's a little hard to see on the white desk. But what he's got there, he's got, it is hard to see on that. You'll get this and we'll show some difference. This is hydrogen and oxygen. As you can see, it made water. He's going to come up with, I like this one.
So when you scan it, it goes right into the element. And the thing about augmented reality is it allows you to bring things in the classroom before it's impossible. Like mercury. Okay? You can't get mercury. Now I can hold it in my hand and manipulate it and see how it reacts to certain things. Okay?
That's plutonium right there. We can't get plutonium in the classroom. What's it going to show here?
To show you some different ones. And then just by touching the blocks together, it will show you the chemical reaction.
We're a little bit crooked. Can you change your camera sideways? Oh, there we go. All right, so there we go. So now
we're picking up all types of things.
Get it copper.
We got copper here.
I love copper. Okay, this gives you a good idea. Here, I'm going to pick up copper so they can see. So if you notice, I now have copper in my hand. I've got a 30 milliliter sample of copper, and well, I'd really like to know.
Signups are underway in lab 101.
Thank you. We'll be there in a minute.
You are up.
Mrs. Kramer's up in.
So copper and phosphorus?
Copper and phosphorus.
Together?
Look at this. Chemical compound. It shows you. I didn't even know copper and phosphorus could create a reaction. Here's what it comes to. You can even see that it's got the chemical reaction down here. It's got the equation. This is a great way to... Now when you were in chemistry class, raise your hand if you think this would be more engaging than reading the book. Yeah, right? Exactly. We were doing this in Texas, and there were high school helpers. And the cool thing is, three high school helpers came in, and they didn't leave. And it was cool. One of the teachers goes, if this isn't proof enough, look in the back. There's 3 high schools you haven't left. Well, the cool thing was they went and got the rest of the volunteers that came to the next session because they saw how we were using this in education. They're doing some videos. They're doing some interviews on what they think about augmented reality. We're going to hopefully have those on our blog at some point because it was awesome.
Next one is Anatomy 4D. Okay, this is created for the University of Illinois Medical School. And it gives us the ability with 2 different targets to explore different parts of the body. Okay? So I'm going to get the sound here. Plug this in.
All right, and we're only going to be a couple more. We know we're pushing time.
We're over time.
We are over time, and he's over the hill, but that's okay. All right, he's going to try to get over here. All right. The human heart, guys. The human heart is living in this 3-dimensional space right now. You can hear it. If you're
silly, right? Who says that?
That's awesome.
How awesome is this?
If you're holding the iPad, you can feel the heartbeat with every heartbeat. If you really want to get into the very specific biomedical, you can. We can look at cardiac cycles. We can turn off the blood flow. We can look at the arteries. We can look at the veins. We can look how it goes through the heart and how it travels. We have a friend, Kelly Racine, whose niece was born with a heart defect. He used this target to show his sister where they did surgery on her heart. It's amazing. Let's see what you got here.
I'm trying to bring it up here so it's easier to scan. Sorry,
You still hear it? There we go. I can hold it. As you see, Drew is going to work this wheel right here. He can turn things on and off. He can deactivate things and activate things. Like when he does blood flow, you can see when he gets there. We're going to look in the heart right now. You can get it open. There's the blood flow is on. You can see the veins and you can see the arteries. Think now, this was built for the medical school, so you know it's accurate. But this is just to show you what is coming in education. You talk about sitting in a high school or biology class. All right, kids, we're looking at the human heart. Maybe you've gone onto a model on a computer, and that's pretty good. You're kind of limited what you can do. Now you've got it living in 3-dimensional space.
All right, we don't usually show this one because a little disclaimer for elementary students are a little graphic.
Well, to begin with,
Detail.
You need to turn down the skin because being so detailed, you can have the skin on, you can see what it is, male or female. Now, you have all the body systems right now, and Drew is working this wheel right here. If you can maybe get the circulatory and skeletal, maybe. Oh, you're still working. Here, look at you. There we go. All right, so Drew, maybe if you can just get the circulatory and the skeletal maybe on, turn off respiratory, urinary. And I guess there's one more. It's look back. What is it? Okay. Anyways, oh, it's off. It's off. It's off. So what you can do is he can actually travel through the human body now. I love doing this part of the demo. You start up at the feet, you can go up through the head and the skull. So here's one of the cool things is you can use this if whatever grade level is appropriate. But here's what I want to share. Is we have one, what we call a target. He's using one poster or one target right now. The thing is there's every body system on there. I can have 5 different kids around a table with one target. One kid can be researching skeletal. One kid can be researching circulatory. One kid can be researching respiratory. They can all be doing their own, have their own experience by using just one target. And here it is, living in 3-dimensional space. You want to get closer? Get closer. Just like in real life, if we're looking at something, we want to look at it. I know we're all into pinch and zoom, which I am too. This is a true story. I had to travel the other day and I was driving. I had an atlas. Some of you remember what those are? You will not believe what I did. I was in a city and I went like this. I tried to zoom in on a paper atlas. That was so true. I looked at my son. I said, "Did you see it?" He goes, "I saw it, Dad." I'm like, "Oh my God! I didn't tell you that." No, that's amazing.
Okay, so these are just a couple of the demos we just want to show you, just kind of so you can visually see what exactly augmented reality is. But today we're actually going to show you how to create it. Okay? So we'll walk you through and show you how to actually create your own augmented reality so that you can make mind-blowing experiences in your classroom and really transform the way that you learn and teach.
So the way that's going to look is we're going to wrap up in about 1 minute. At Drew's station, we split up so we can show you more and you can bounce between us and other people. Drew will be showing you more of this and he will be showing you the creation platform. You can go get that information. With me, you're going to see a lot of the coding, and actually I have some augmented reality engagement activities and games. So that's what we'll be sharing, and then this afternoon we'll be with you one-on-one. I believe I'm meeting with K1, 2, and Special Ed, and I think Drew is meeting with 3, 4, 5, if I'm not mistaken. So that will be your time to pick our brains. We can get more specific with you, what you want to accomplish in your class, help you with ideas and collaborate and help you get some things that maybe you can take back to your classroom this year.
One thing we want to leave you with, okay? This is a quote by one of my favorite people ever, John Wooden. Okay? Think about the teaching profession contributes more to the future of our society than any other single profession. Okay? So many times, I hear people say, "I'm just a teacher." We have to stop saying, "I'm just a teacher." You are not just a teacher. Okay? You make a huge impact on kids' lives every single day. What you do is so important and matters so much. Remember that. Please remember that. Okay? Thank you very much.
All right, thank you very much.